Hi, welcome back to Motech Performance. I'm Mike, behind the camera is Jay. And this week's vlog, we're going to go over the two M2s. To the right of me, this is Ian's car. He's a good customer and you've probably seen it in a number of vlogs. We've done a lot to it. He's been back in this week for a detailed inspection that Steve's already carried out and a new stunning carbon CSL style brace for Venturi to match with the carbon intakes from Ram Air and the engine cover from BMW M. Let us know what you think of that. So behind me we have our M2 and of course Ian's M2, and brought Alex down. Alex is one of the specialists upstairs that specialises in M cars. If you have an interesting part you want to talk about or have modifications fitted, reach out and speak to Alex. Now Alex, I'm going to quiz you on some things here.
Oh no.
You'll be all right. So we're going to have a conversation about the two cars and what we like about them and some modifications under a certain value. Do you think you know what's on both of these cars off the top of your head?
Yeah, pretty good understanding. I was going to say that one I would hope so.
Okay.
This one, yeah, I reckon there's a good chance.
Cool. So I'm going to ask some questions that I've just been upstairs making a note of what I want your answers. So, best modifications for a G87 M2 under £200?
Under £200. So carbon arch guards are always a good start to protect the car and also look great. Wheel spacers, probably one of the most prominent changes you can make to the car without spending a whole heap of money. And then other than that, little things like LCI badges, that kind of stuff.
Popular. 50th anniversary badges, floating caps.
AC Schnitzer bumper strip as well.
So whether you're coming in with a G87 M2 and you have a budget in mind, or you're literally just looking for the smallest add-on, we can really cater for it all. So there's plenty of things we can do. Next up, best modification you would do for £500?
£500 springs and spacers all day long. I don't think you can make a bigger change to the car handling wise and looks wise with £500 than springs and sorting out the stance.
Yep.
If I had to go down the styling route, Maxton's always a good option with £500 because you can actually kit the car out. You can front splitter, side skirts and spoiler, which is a nice transformation across the whole car within that budget. If you were looking at carbon, I think realistically,
probably get away with a rear spoiler.
Yeah, rear spoiler, but otherwise, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree on that one. Again, the styling of an M2 is quite aggressive from factory, but they're doing a bit more. Both these cars actually run the AC Schnitzer kit, but the Maxton Gloss Black is also real nice, affordable way in, and lets you start to build from there. For me, it'd probably be the front splitter and the side skirts from AC, and then maybe some sides from Maxton, should I say, and then maybe some spacers, just to give it that sort of squat look.
100%.
Really sort of finishes the car off. So if you had a budget next of £1,500, and that was your M2, or this one was your M2, what would you be doing first of all?
So I'd be incorporating springs and spacers definitely because they sit ridiculously high. I don't know what BMW thought they were doing, but
both these, just to let you know, we're obviously on our stance kit, so this is the most aggressive spring kit we do, and they are still very usable.
And they sit well. But yeah, springs and spacers definitely, and for the most kind of impact, again, out of that price range, the intake, Pro-Ram carbon intake, makes it so much more engaging to drive. The cars are fairly muted down, as we all know, but without going down the exhaust route, which we'll get onto obviously, but the intake's a great way just to get a bit more excitement out of it.
They're really muffled from factory, and of course you can really hear it in the car. If you play about with the throttle, because obviously this runs twin turbos, you can kind of get one to open and close, so you can kind of hear the wastegates working. They're a bit of a must, I agree on that one. So intake, springs and spacers, and that will actually transform, those modifications will make that M2 more M2 than what it actually is at the factory. They just bring a bit more engagement and a bit more fun to the car.
Characteristic and livelihood to them.
I agree on that one. I know the answer to this one, but why do we run OPF back only? And if you had a daily, would you run OPF back or would you run the axle back? Oh, exhaust that is, by the way.
Yeah, so with the Remus, we run the OPF back because removing the OPFs, it's a massive faff. Obviously, a lot of the ECUs need to be unlocked now, going onto the BMW G series.
It's also against the law.
It is against the law, that's what it's coming onto. So it's not emissions friendly, it's not, everything to do with it is a massive pain, really. So we run OPF back because it's loud enough on these. I think taking the OPFs out, I mean, we've done it once before, haven't we? And the end result was stupidly loud.
It's a cheaper way of doing things because it's just a bit of pipe. You can just have these bits of pipe, but to get the best, like you sort of said.
But the Remus retains the OEM valves, it's plug and play, it's nice and easy. The tips look great on the back of it. I mean, we've got the difference between obviously the titanium on our car and the chrome tips on Ian's car, and not only does it change the look, but it gives you the perfect amount of sound.
100%. And if you were daily in the car, would you run the axle back race sport, or would you still run the full OPF back?
As a daily car, I would do race axle back, just to avoid any possibility of it being a bit too loud for normal motorway use, that kind of thing. If you were sat on the motorway, they're a very boomy engine, so I would run race axle back. But if it was a weekend toy, second car, and you had something else to bobble around in, then race OPF back the whole way.
No, I agree. One of the things that we'll always do here and encourage the sales team is to really find out what the customer's needs and wants are. If he's got young children doing loads of miles, that OPF back system can be tad droney, especially with the valves open. So, you know, have a conversation with us and try and find out what works for what your lifestyle is. And again, it goes back down to the springs. We do this aggressive spring kit, but if you do live in an area that's got plenty of speed ramps and bumps and things like that, then you might want to go the I-back kit.
Definitely.
Next big thing, wheels. Talk to me about wheels and what we offer for the M2s.
They're definitely the most important part of the build.
100%.
I would say that completely. Wheel-wise, obviously, we do run a range of fitments. The cars are standard come with 19s and 20s on them, so it's being able to cater for the OEM tyre, but also the upsize where, for example, like your 1000M wheels are running 20 and 21 on these from BMW Genuine. 19 and 20 wise, we can obviously run both the MW4 as you see on our car and the MW10 as we see on Ian's car. We can run them in 19 front and 20 rear to run your original tyres. You can actually do 20-inch front and rear like we did on the Frozen
On the
Blue
MW10s we can?
Yeah, on the MW10s.
And that's quite a good way because that can be quite cost effective because we can basically sell you 4 wheels and 2 tyres. So you can use your original rear tyres to make up a square set. So that's also quite affordable as well. What's the difference mainly between 10 and the 4?
The 10 is a flow forged wheel, whereas the MW4 is a fully forged wheel. I know you've gone over the ultimate guide of wheels in previous videos where Mikey does explain the difference between the two and the benefits, so we won't go too far into it, but yeah, flow forged wheel and a fully forged wheel.
And of course these both come in completely different colour options as well.
Yeah, I think colour options on a wheel, again, it makes all the difference, and it's all about tailoring the build. So when we look at wheels, we do look at what colour the car is, what parts are going on it, whether you're doing gloss black kit, whether we're doing carbon kit, or like our own car with a body coloured kit, because the wheel needs to be matched to that. Hence why we've gone with different finishes between our car and Ian's car, just to suit the different style of kits that we've got on.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, again, really stress if you're interested, pick up the phone, have a conversation with us, or drop us a WhatsApp or whatever it may be. Because certain things in people's heads might not work, but actually it does. So we did the Fire Red car, and we put the Neodyme 2021s onto it, and everyone thought it was going to look horrendous, but it worked out really well. In fact, it did quite well on social media. And then we also have done for mail order a few sets actually of the gloss polished, but on a Java green car, which I actually thought the black would look better.
We've actually done like 2 or 3 sets now as well.
Yeah, exactly, especially on the Java green car, so it does work quite well. So we've gone over obviously mods for certain value, best builds, exhaust wheels. Now next thing we're going to talk about is styling. Now both these cars actually look very similar because they're running a lot of AC Schnitzer parts. But do you prefer AC Schnitzer painted parts or carbon parts?
It's a real, it's a real difference on these because obviously the M Performance kit is full carbon on these cars. The AC Schnitzer parts look amazing. I like the body coloured ones when we have a car of a colour, whereas like obviously on Ian's car, they're painted gloss black to go with the black sapphire paint. I think if I had a black car, I would go carbon for the contrast.
Like your spoiler? And
like the spoiler and the kidney grills. But if I had a coloured car, I would then be looking into options of body colour paintwork, that kind of stuff, just to really make it proper tailored. Yeah,
I agree. When you paint stuff on the car, like on our G87, it changes the way the silhouette, the way the car looks. Now, when you have like a light coloured car like Zandvoort Blue or the white cars and you start adding carbon on, you can clearly see it's got a carbon spoiler on it because you have that sort of harsh line from a dark carbon to a light coloured car, where Ian's car can hide the carbon as well quite well. So yeah, again, if you're unsure, pick up the phone and have a conversation with us. Right, a few trick questions with you now before you get your gold star rating.
Trick questions, right.
What have both cars got exactly the same but hard to see on camera?
Springs, intakes.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Ceramic coating.
Detailing, ceramic coating, yeah, both have been for the bay.
Which brings me to a bit of a must. These cars are actually made in Mexico, and for whatever reasons, the 240i and the M2, they do come into the UK, not as prepared Wales cars from Germany. The lacquer just seems a little softer. They are quite prone to scratching and stuff. So we really strongly suggest if you have one of these and it is your pride and joy, and you have, especially the frozen paints, get it protected. It's one of those things, give us a call, give us a quote. We're always happy to work with you and we can go through, especially a lot of the gloss black parts, all the kidney grills and things like that, they are really susceptible to scratching very quickly and easy. So you need to get them coated very, very quickly. And like we just sort of said, last thing is, what do these things have in common? Now, I was listing some of these things in my head a lot, even down to tyres, springs, offset on wheels, engine
builds.
covers, armrests, literally identical builds. And I don't know what I would change from either car, if I'm honest.
No, I think I'd have to take this new strut brace onto ours.
Yeah, that is lovely.
That is a hell of an upgrade.
Yeah.
Intake-wise, they obviously run the same. Springs-wise, they're running the same. Wheel setup, whilst they're different wheels, again, like we hinted towards, they're same tyres, like you say.
Yeah, V107 star rated. It's
Exhausts,
a perfect tyre.
both
Exactly
running Remus race
both
open back. I think what it actually shows more is that they're proven parts. We're running them on demo cars, but also we have customer cars that run identical setups, and when something's popular, it clearly works really well.
Yeah, I agree. So it's just a short video just to go over some of the modifications that we like on the G87 M2. Let us know which one you prefer. Black car next to Alex or our Lamborghini grey demo car. Thanks for watching, and speak to Alex for any M2 needs. If you're watching this part here and you've just seen Alex do a double thumbs up, drop him an email and he'll give you an extra discount code.